Hey everyone, so these are going to be my thoughts and opinions here on using a Garmin Epix Gen 2 Pro. This is the 51mm version. There's also two smaller versions as well. Versus the Apple Watch Ultra. This is the first generation. There's also a second generation, but they're both very, very similar to each other. I do have the always on display turned on, but because they're not on my wrist, they're going to keep turning off every few seconds because, again, they're not on my wrist. So let's first talk about the way they look. Again, this is all my own thoughts and opinions here. You can disagree with me or you can agree with me, whatever. Make a comment below if you want. So I do like the way both of these look. Apple Watch, of course, looks like Apple Watch. The Ultra looks like a bigger Apple Watch, basically. Whereas the Garmin looks more like a regular watch with its circular design here. And then it has a nice, beautiful display. Talking about their displays, both of them are nice, beautiful displays. I wouldn't say one is better than the other one, in my own opinion. I like them both. I don't have any issues with their displays. One thing I will say, though, is even in their dimmest settings, which both these are, the Apple Watch is quite bright, which is a good thing, is not a good thing. The Garmin, in its dimmest setting, is not really that bright if it's not on like this. So when it goes to, I guess, let's say sleep like this, it gets super duper dim. It's still on, but it gets pretty dim. And then if it's actually on your wrist and you go and you turn it, it brightens up over a second or two. And then you can hit any button or tap or whatever, and it'll get super bright. Which I do like because that will help save battery. And for me, it's like I don't need it super crazy bright all the time, even in its dim setting. I prefer actually how the Garmin does it. Talking about battery life here. For me, I am getting about 2.5 days or so out of the Apple Watch Ultra, which is good for an Apple Watch Ultra. That is using it for 2 days and 2 nights. Which is really good for an Apple Watch. Where the Garmin, I can show you guys right now. 97% battery, it's still saying 11 days. Again, that's with always on display turned on in its dimmest setting. So this, I can get well over a week. That's day and night use. I get over a week with it. So this is definitely better for battery life. But of course, everybody knows Apple Watches just do not have very good battery lives. But again, for an Apple Watch, the Ultra is really good. As far as like text messaging goes and answering phone calls and stuff like that, if you are connected to an iPhone, you can see messages, you can see emails, you can see stuff like that on the Garmin, but you're not going to be able to reply to them whatsoever, and that is because Apple has that locked down to only Apple Watches being able to do that sort of thing. Again, you can see the message, you just cannot reply to it, and you cannot answer phone calls on the Epix, at least not as of right now. If you're connected to an Android phone, you can see the message, you can do quick replies, so you're not actually able to type out a message completely. You can save quick replies to the watch, and then you can send them off that way. Of course, with Apple Watch, this is almost like a phone on your wrist. You can answer phone calls on it, you can send off messages, you can reply to messages, you can do voice replies to messages, whole bunch of crazy stuff. So as far as that all goes, Apple Watch is by far better. I am hoping Garmin will bring text messaging, like actual text messaging, to the Garmin Epix series because some of their watches that cost about half the price, you can actually do actual text messaging on. Their newest Venue series, you can do actual text messaging on, not just quick replies. So hopefully they'll bring that to this very expensive watch. Which then was talk about pricing here. So both of these I actually bought used, kind of used new, but I bought them off of either OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace. Normally priced though, the Apple Watch Ultra was $800. This was, I believe, $1,100. So they're both very expensive, but the Garmin is a bit more expensive. Personally, I paid, I believe, $600 for the Garmin, and it was actually brand new in the box, but it was off of, again, OfferUp. Whereas the Apple Watch Ultra Gen 1 here, I paid $470 off of Facebook Marketplace. Again, it was barely used. So I basically paid about half of what each of these cost brand new on the used market. Quickly talking about exercising, I'm not a crazy exerciser by any means. I maybe do a mile or two runs or walks and some very low end strength training here. But what is really nice about the Garmin, if you are a runner, it has built-in topo mapping, or if you're a hiker or anything like that, anything outdoorsy, it actually has built-in topo mapping, which is really, really cool. And you do not need your watch near you for this, or you don't need your phone near you for this. It's all built into the watch itself. Apple Watch can do something similar if you download the Work Outdoors app. It's somewhere around, I think, $7 or $8 here in the US. Awesome app. Then you can actually have topo mapping built in. But for this, you still have to download a certain area of the map in order to use it without your phone. Or, of course, if you have LTE built in, you don't need your phone either. But otherwise, if you have your phone with you, you do not need to download the maps. But again, without your phone or without LTE, you have to download just parts of your map. And again, with your phone, just having your phone on you, you can see the entire map because then it kind of goes off of your phone. But Work Outdoors is really awesome for the Apple Watch. Especially the Ultra with its bit better battery life over the regular Apple Watch. Again, as far as accuracy goes, there are plenty of other videos out on YouTube. I'm not a crazy athlete. I don't really care all that much about accuracy as long as they are pretty close. And both of these, at least for my walks and runs, have been very, very close to each other. I mean, you're talking like 0.02 miles off on a couple mile walk or run. So they both seem very, very accurate as far as I know. And then one final thing I want to talk about is, well, two final things here. As far as, let's first talk about apps. Both of these do have different wallets on them. So this has Garmin Pay, this has Apple Pay. As far as I know from my own research, they both work about the same. Only difference might be Apple has more banks that you can hook up to it than Garmin does. And then as far as other apps go, Apple Watch, you can get a lot more apps on it. So if apps on your watch are very important, the Apple Watch is going to be better. Garmin does have apps, but it's not as much, and they don't seem to be as well made from what I've seen, at least for the apps I've looked at. And then besides from that, let's talk about bands here. You can see I don't have a Garmin specific band on here. I do not have an Apple specific band on here. You can get a crazy amount of different bands off of Amazon for both of these. Including these ocean-looking bands here, like as Apple would call them, would be the ocean band. This one's actually from Five Below. It costs like $5, a little bit over $5. This is from Amazon. Again, it costs, I think, somewhere between $10 and $15. But again, you can get a crazy amount of different watch bands for both of these, and they're both incredibly easy to get on and off. So Garmin, just this right here, you push that and pull, and it comes right off. Same thing, getting it on. And then, of course, Apple has the button right there. You push it in, slide it out, slide it back in. Both are very easy to change out your bands, which personally I love. I don't have too many bands for the Apple Watch as of right now, but for the Garmin, I think I have somewhere around 20 different bands because I've had the Garmin for a lot longer. So, I mean, I love that you can change out the bands incredibly easy, incredibly quick. And there's a crazy amount of them for both these watches, especially on Amazon. Y'all, let me know what you think. I do like both these watches. I kind of like them for different reasons. Which one I prefer is really hard to say, as they're both very good watches. But again, they do have some different usability to them. Yeah, y'all let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.